Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Better Know a Highway, here on Virtual Road Trip, where we take a closer look at the highways and interstates that cross this vast country of ours. In this episode, we're back with another double feature. Highways on different ends of the country with the same number designation, each traveling their own unique route. Interstate 76. And real quick, just wanted to remind you to please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Always appreciate that. Make sure to check out the VRT Discord. Link is in the description below. And if you want to support this channel, you can join as a member by clicking the join button below. And big shout out to my members or member. Thank you very much for your support. I very much appreciate it. And now, with all that out of the way, let's get started. Let's start out west with the western version of I-76. This one travels for a total of 187 miles through 2 states, although primarily through just one. Starting at the eastern end, in the state of Nebraska, where 76 runs for a very modest 3 miles within, it begins at a junction with the major east-west highway I-80 on the south side of the South Platte River. Immediately heading southwest, 76 has no exits within the state other than the initial junction, and quickly enters Colorado very close to its exact northeastern corner. I-76 has the vast majority of its route within Colorado, crossing the high plains of the eastern half of the state for a total of 184 miles. Initially in the far northeastern corner of the state, 76 snakes its way along the southern bank of the South Platte River, through vast grasslands and cattle grazing, mixed in with the occasional small town, and heading generally in a southwest direction. As it gets further along, 76 reaches some bigger towns, such as Sterling and Fort Morgan, and slowly makes its way towards more populated areas as it enters the distant suburbs of the Denver metro area. 76 first crosses to the northwest of the large Denver International Airport, connected to it by other local highways, then moving further into denser suburban terrain while keeping on its southwest course. Although providing a crucial link for it, 76 never reaches Denver itself, instead staying well to the north of the downtown core and junctioning with the major north-south running I-25, which does head into Denver directly. A relatively short distance later, I-76 reaches the edge of the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains, where it terminates at a junction with the major route I-70, now well to the northwest of Denver. I-70 will then enter the rugged mountain range just to the west, and ending this version of I-76's 187-mile run. Now we head east, for the other version of I-76, this one being much older and more traveled. It runs for a total of 435 miles through 3 states, although primarily through just 2. Once again, starting at the east end, I-76 begins in the state of New Jersey, and much like its western counterpart, it only travels in this first state for a short 3 miles. Beginning at a junction with a long-running spur, I-295, near Gloucester City, New Jersey, 76 heads northwest towards the city of Camden. However, it turns west just before getting there to cross the Delaware River via the Walt Whitman Bridge and into Pennsylvania. I-76 serves as a major thoroughfare through the Keystone State, stretching straight across it for its entire length from east to west for 351 miles, with the majority of the route also serving as the toll-bound Pennsylvania Turnpike. Upon entering the state from the east, it starts as a freeway and proceeds to wrap around the downtown core of the city of Philadelphia, first intersecting the major north-south running I-95, then making a sharp turn to the north and running parallel to the nearby Schuylkill River. This stretch is appropriately named the Schuylkill Expressway. Hugging the west side of the river, 76 has numerous exits that lead to downtown Philadelphia, as well as many nearby residential neighborhoods, while also passing in view of the Philadelphia Museum of Art and many other local landmarks. Eventually heading north and into more suburban areas, 76 remains next to the Schuylkill River, leaves Philadelphia, and soon enters the King of Prussia Valley Forge area. It's here where 76 junctions with a spur, I-276, This intersection is significant as this is where I-76 becomes concurrent with the Pennsylvania Turnpike, having the designation transferred from the aforementioned spur. A toll is collected to continue on the route through a closed ticket system. 76 then turns due west and heads into the central part of the state. Passing far to the north of the Lancaster area, 76 soon enters the Capital District and the city of Harrisburg. Here, it will have numerous junctions with major routes in the center of the state, including I-83 just to the south and eventually I-81 just to the west of the city. Staying on the outskirts itself, 76 also crosses the Susquehanna River and soon leaves the Harrisburg area to enter the mountainous Ridge and Valley region of the state. 76 carves its way through this rugged area with a variety of methods, including 2 tunnels passing directly under the ridges. As it leaves the Cumberland Valley, 76 first passes through the Blue Mountain Tunnel, under the mountain of the same name, for roughly 4,300 feet. Then, after a short 600-foot opening to the surface, it enters the Kittatinny Mountain Tunnel, for another underground stretch, this one slightly over 4,700 feet. I-76 then emerges into a narrow valley, where it then turns southwest and soon passes under the next ridge it meets, via the Tuscarora Tunnel, this one running even longer at 5,226 feet in length. Next up, 76 continues to traverse the mountainous terrain by heading up Sidling Hill to cross the next ridge. It's here where we can take a closer look at some of the history of I-76, and particularly this local stretch. Parts of the current turnpike date back to as early as 1940, as Pennsylvania sought to build its first superhighway across the state. Over time, most of this original highway was upgraded and absorbed into the interstate system, becoming the I-76 we see today. However, there are parts of the old highway that were totally abandoned, the most well-known part being in the Sidling Hill area, where a 13-mile stretch of the original highway still exists and can be visited as it is slowly reclaimed by nature. In addition to the stretch of abandoned road, 2 tunnels existed, and continue to exist in a deteriorated state, the Sidling Hill Tunnel and the Rays Hill Tunnel. By the late 1950s, traffic on the turnpike was vastly increasing as the automobile became a staple of American life, and the tunnels on this stretch were built narrow and caused significant congestion in the area. So the decision was made to bypass this entire stretch as well as both tunnels and instead send the turnpike over the mountain to keep traffic flowing. This entire stretch is well known locally and still visited by many hikers and trekkers alike, and there is no shortage of videos online that go much deeper into the history of the highway in this area as well as exploring it. I will link a few in the description below if you want to dive deeper. Moving on, 76 reaches the Breezewood, Pennsylvania vicinity, where it junctions with the long-running I-70 and begins a significant concurrency with it for the next 186 miles. It's also the site of a well-known gap in the interstate system, where I-70 briefly ends and then restarts with a small at-grade section in between, lined with numerous gas stations and tourist traps. The reason for this is interesting, and something we will get much more into in the upcoming I-70 video. Now with both highways continuing west, they first reach the final active tunnel on the route, with the Kittatinny Mountain Tunnel, which runs for just over 6,000 feet under the ridge of the same name. Then, a short drive through another valley to reach the last major ridge in the area, Laurel Hill, where another abandoned tunnel sits, the Laurel Hill Tunnel. 76 juts just to the north to bypass it for a short distance, before resuming the original track just to the west. You know, it's certainly no wonder why the Pennsylvania Turnpike has long been known as the Tunnel Highway. Now entering the western part of the state, and back into flatter terrain, I-76 and I-70 end their concurrency near the town of New Stanton, with 70 continuing west, while 76 will head northwest to enter the Pittsburgh metro area. Staying generally to the northeast of the city, 76 traverses the outer suburbs of the area and crosses the Allegheny River. There is also a significant junction with another long and important spur, I-376, that heads directly west into downtown Pittsburgh and after turning north, will eventually link back up with 76, creating a beltway around the city and its suburbs. 76 also has a junction with I-79 in the Cranberry Township area, north of Pittsburgh. As it heads further west, through more rural areas, 76 finally reaches the state line to enter its last state, terminating the historic Pennsylvania Turnpike and moving into Ohio. I-76 runs for a total of 81 miles within the Buckeye State. It also immediately becomes the toll-bound Ohio Turnpike at the state line, a designation it will have for its first 22 miles within. Staying to the southwest of the city of Youngstown, 76 has a significant junction with the major east-west running I-80. It's here where the Ohio Turnpike designation transfers to I-80, with 76 turning to the west as a freeway. A toll is paid to leave the turnpike and continue on 76. Now heading deeper into Ohio, past some small towns and rural areas, 76 enters the city of Akron, the final city along its route. Here the highway heads directly into it, passing just next to downtown, with many exits connecting the area. There is also a junction and short concurrency with I-77, and both head west for about 3 miles together, with 76 turning south and then west after they split. The final stretch of I-76 takes it back into the Ohio countryside, this time towards the central part of the state. It's here where it terminates at a rural junction with the north-south running I-71, which heads even deeper into the state. This thus ends I-76's impressive 435-mile journey. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of Better Know a Highway. I know it took a little while to get this one out, but it was quite a bit of work, and I hope you learned something along the way. That's the most important thing. So before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. I do always appreciate that. Make sure to check out the VRT Discord. The link is in the description, as always. Check out the interesting discussion in there and come join us. And lastly, if you do want to support this channel, you can click to join as a member by clicking the join button below. Yes, that's how you do that. And I definitely appreciate that. So until next time, as always, make sure you enjoy the ride. And up next, it's another big one, I-75. And I'll see you then.